KYIV, the first face-to-face talks in 2 weeks between Russia and Ukraine began Tuesday in Turkey, raising flickering hopes there could be progress toward ending a war that has ground into a bloody campaign of attrition. Ahead of the meeting in Istanbul, the Ukrainian president said his country is prepared to declare its neutrality, as Moscow has demanded, and is open to compromise over the contested eastern region of Donbas. Comments that might lend momentum to negotiations. But he warned the ruthless wars continued, and even the negotiators assembled. Russian forces hit an oil depot in western Ukraine and a government building in the south. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan told the two sides that they had a historic responsibility to stop the fighting. We believe that there will be no losers in a just peace. Prolonging the conflict is not in anyone's interest, Erdogan said, as he greeted the two delegations seated on opposite sides of a long table. Also in the room was Roman Abramovich, owner of Chelsea Football Club. A longtime ally of Russian President Vladimir Putin, who has been sanctioned by Britain and the EU, the billionaire has been playing an unofficial mediating role. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said Abramovich has been ensuring certain contacts between the Russian and Ukrainian sides and that his role was approved by both countries. Putin's aim of a quick military victory has been thwarted by stiff Ukrainian resistance. But still hopes were not high for a breakthrough. Reflecting skepticism among Ukraine's Western allies, British Foreign Secretary Liz Truss said she thought the Russian president was not serious about talks. In fighting that has devolved into a back-and-forth stalemate, Ukrainian forces retook Irpin, a key suburb northwest of the capital, Kyiv, President Volodymyr Zelensky said late Monday. But he warned that Russian troops were regrouping to take the area back. We still have to fight, we have to endure, Zelensky said in his nighttime video address to the nation. This is a ruthless war against our nation, against our people, against our children. He also lashed out at Western countries, which he is repeatedly accused of not going far enough in either sanctioning Moscow or supporting Ukraine with weapons. As a result, Ukrainians were paying with their lives, he said. If someone is afraid of Russia, if he or she is afraid to make the necessary decisions that are important to us, in particular for us to get planes, tanks, necessary artillery, shells, it makes these people responsible for the catastrophe created by Russian troops in our cities, too, he said. Fear always makes you an accomplice. A missile struck an oil depot in western Ukraine late Monday, the second attack on oil facilities in a region that has been spared the worst of the fighting. On Tuesday morning, an explosion blasted a hole in a 9-story administration building in Mykolaiv, a southern port city that Russia has unsuccessfully tried to capture. A gaping hole could be seen in the center of the building in a photo posted on the Telegram channel of the regional governor, Vitaly Kim. He said most people escaped the building and rescuers were searching for a handful of missing people. It's terrible. They waited for people to go to work before striking the building, he said. I overslept. I'm lucky. Earlier Russia-Ukraine talks, held in person in Belarus or by video, failed to make progress on ending a more than month-long war that has killed thousands and driven more than 10 million Ukrainians from their homes, including almost 4 million from their country. Russia has long demanded that Ukraine drop any hope of joining NATO, which Moscow sees as a threat. Zelensky indicated over the weekend he was open to that, saying Ukraine was ready to declare its neutrality, but he has stressed that the country needs security guarantees of its own as part of any deal. As well as Irpin, Ukrainian forces also seized back control of Trostinets, south of Sumy in the northeast, after weeks of Russian occupation that has left a landscape devastated by war. Arriving in the town Monday shortly afterward, the Associated Press saw the bodies of 2 Russian soldiers lay abandoned in the woods and Russian tanks lay burned and twisted. A red Z marked a Russian truck, its windshield fractured, near stacked boxes of ammunition. Ukrainian forces piled atop a tank flashed victory signs. Dazed residents lined up amid charred buildings seeking aid. It was unclear where the Russian troops went, under what circumstances they fled and whether the town will remain free of them. Ukraine, meanwhile, said it would try to evacuate civilians from 3 southern cities on Tuesday. Deputy Prime Minister Irina Vereshchuk said humanitarian corridors would run from heavily bombed Mariupol as well as Enerhodar and Melitopol. The latter two cities are under Russian control, but Vereshchuk didn't address to what extent Moscow had agreed to the corridors, except for saying 880 people fled Mariupol a day earlier without an agreement in place. Adblock test. Why?